Hey, welcome to day number 23 in your B90X card you've been reading. Of course, today it looks like, we were reading through 2 Samuel, the 12th chapter, through 2 Samuel, the 28th chapter. And this whole time in Samuel, we've been looking at the life of David. And it has been, you have to admit, very, very interesting. And yet, man, a lot of questions of, here is the King of Israel. Here is the person that we call one of our greatest leaders and examples. And sometimes when we're reading even about David and we see the things of his life, we shake our heads because, here's a guy that ought to make us feel somewhat good because, he had some serious family problems. And those family problems were generated because of his lack of doing the right things at the right times. And so I hope that as a parent, that as you have looked at David's life, that you understand that God doesn't try to hide the blemishes of his people. He doesn't try to cover them up. He wants you and I to know that his people, from the very beginning of time and his working in their lives, is no different than what we are today. David's life, besides all of that, he had to learn through all those family troubles and through the problems of Absalom. And when Absalom captured Jerusalem and David left, he had to learn humility. I think it is one of the most interesting stories to look there and to see the embarrassment of a king as he leaves Jerusalem and people that are around him and I believe it's Shimei throwing rocks at him and calling him names. And yet David didn't lose his faith in God. David knew who he was, and he truly believed, I think even in all of that, as you see the return of David to Jerusalem, he knew that God had his hand upon him, and that God was going to take care of him at all times. And so what you've read, and as we come to the end here of Samuel, getting close to that David put his faith in God at all times. You come to the 22nd chapter of 2 Samuel there, and I think it's interesting. I want to read these scriptures. I know that you'll either read them today or you've read them. He says this: to the faithful God you show your faithfulness. To those with integrity you show integrity. To the pure you show yourself pure, but to the wicked you show yourself hostile. You rescue the humble, but your eyes watch the proud and humiliate them. O Lord, you are my lamp. The Lord lights up my darkness. He says that in Psalms. When we get over there, you're going to read that in Psalms, the 119th chapter. He goes, in your strength, I can crush an army. With my God, I can scale any wall. David's simply saying, through all that I've been through, God's still faithful. I'm still going to follow him. He's going to help me. He's going to be with me. He's going to humble me if he needs to. God's always going to be with us. He's going to see us through, and he's going to stay with us. He may have to humble us, but he will always give us the strength to be able to stand, to do what he's called us to do in this world.